This is week 2 of me learning to fly FPV. I decided to get a few quads just to, get better at actually flying out of the simulator. So luckily enough, I was able to purchase 2 Airblade frames, fully configured, fully set up from some friends. I got a Airblade Eau Claire Light 3-inch and a Airblade Intrepid 5-inch. It was pretty smoky this week from the wildfires over in BC, but I did manage to get out and fly almost 3 or 4 times. So in this video, I'm going to go over what I learned this week. So the most important thing I learned switching from simulator to flying in real life is to stay away from hard things like goalposts and generally anything that can do damage to the quad. In the simulator, it's a lot easy to, just hit the reset button and you're back up and flying again. Whereas in real life, if you break something, you gotta wait for parts to come in. You gotta reassemble everything. So this little clip here is of the camcorder I set up to record while I was flying, and it basically shows why until you really understand how to fly, should stay away from anything that can do a lot of damage to your quad. That gasp you hear in the video is my girlfriend. What you can't hear in the video is how much that sound echoed. It lasted for a good 3 to 5 seconds after I hit. When I went and recovered the quad, it looked like the actual shaft from the motor itself just somehow disappeared. The bell housing was fine, the stators and everything were fine. It's literally just the shaft from inside that kind of couples the bell housing to the stators is what just absolutely disappeared. So yeah, if you're like me, switching from a simulator to flying a drone in real life for your first, I'd say your first couple of weeks, stay away from anything that can utterly destroy your drone. That's lesson 1. The second thing I learned this week was plan ahead when adding components to your drones. So I was fortunate enough to get essentially bind and fly configurations for both the drones. But what I did was I purchased a RunCam Mini that I wanted to add to the 5-inch quad, just so I could record onboard video without, having a GoPro on board. Now, installing the RunCam Mini was fairly straightforward. There's, tons of documentation out there on how to hook it up, but essentially it's just an inline device that sits between your camera and your OSD, or if you don't have an OSD, between your camera and your VTX. Now, after I had successfully, soldered everything and got everything in place, I attempted to test out the RunCam DVR, and it took me about 5 minutes to realize why the DVR wouldn't actually record anything. And it turned out that the button on the version 1 of the RunCam Mini DVR actually needs to be pressed to terminate the recording. So this, learning this retroactively resulted in me having to really tweak the positioning of the board so that I could access both the button as well as the SD card when I needed to pull videos out of it. So yeah, when making modifications, just plan ahead. The third thing that I learned this week was pick one trick or one maneuver that you want to get really good at. At first, when I started, I tried doing a whole bunch of different tricks that I'd seen in other people's YouTube videos, and the problem was I didn't feel like I was learning anything. I felt like I was just making a whole bunch of random gestures with my hands. So after this, I decided to do what I've been practicing a lot in the simulator, which is power loops. Just doing power loops over and over again. Rotor Riot has a fantastic video on power loops, which I found really helpful in learning how to do power loops consistently and to get the drone to end up exactly where I wanted it to over and over again. So yeah, lesson number 3 is pick a single trick and just keep doing it over and over again until you get good at it.